What's up guys, it's Eric from Rare Candy and welcome back for our first entry into our Celestial Storm Testing Grounds videos. So if you guys aren't too familiar with these Testing Grounds videos that we do on the channel, they typically feature our rough deck ideas around some new archetypes that a set gives us. That way we can start trying them out to see what has potential for some competitive play. So over here on the left I'm actually going to be playing with the new Metagross from Celestial Storm, and over there on the right we have Haley Brokaw, who is a player from my local area. She was nice enough to help me record this video, and she's actually going to be playing Zoroark GX Shiftry GX. So I thought this might be a pretty interesting matchup that we have here. Metagross is actually a deck that I think is really good against decks that have to take 2-hit knockouts, but Haley does have Shiftry GX, which actually can take 1-hit knockouts, so I thought that might actually make this this matchup pretty even, or at least on paper it seemed that way anyway. So we'll have to see how this is going to work. So here I am opening up with a Dhelmise. That is definitely not a good Pokemon to start with. Dhelmise, for you guys who aren't familiar, has this ability. It increases the damage of your metal Pokemon by 10. But here, as you can see, I'm playing a Heavy Ball, grabbing a Beldum. One thing that's nice about this Metagross deck actually is that the entire evolution line is searchable by Heavy Ball, which is pretty great actually. And this Metagross, it's the new one from Celestial Storm. We did talk about in our set review, so definitely go check it out if you have not already done so yet. But basically it has this great ability. Whenever you play the new supporter card, Steven's Resolve, from your hand, then your turn doesn't end, whereas normally it would based on the text on the card. So you have a nice supporter that you can make great use of, and it has a decent attack for a single metal energy. It does 60, and then on the next turn you do 60 more. So just a solid little one prize attacking Pokemon that can tank hits. So you can see I'm going to get down another Heavy Ball. Getting a second Beldum into play. Definitely want to set up a couple of these Metagross throughout the course of the game. And it looks like Haley is going to start her turn. I see she has that turn 1 Bridget in hand, so definitely a good start for her. So this deck, kind of like other Zoroark variants, it should look pretty familiar. Zoroark GX is the main attacker of the deck, and Shiftry GX is going to be the backup attacker here. So Shiftry, for you guys who might not be too familiar, Haley's mainly playing it over there for the second attack that it has for a grass and double colorless energy. If both players have the same amount of cards in hand, it does 90 plus 90 more. So it's a nice attacker, especially with a choice band in the mix. You can hit for 210. You can one-shot a lot of things that are currently in the format, which is cool, and it's definitely going to even the playing field a little bit for her deck. Zoroark, not the best attacker against Metagross. My deck over there plays max potions and things like that, so I'm very well equipped to win the two-shot war. So her getting a Shiftry GX up and running is definitely going to be pretty big. If she's able to do that, I think she's actually in a good spot to potentially win, since that is just going to be such a overpowering attacker for Metagross to deal with. So, okay, she did get 2 Zoruas, and the C-Dot definitely seems good. Going to get down a grass energy on that C-Dot. I like that as well. And so now she's just a double colorless energy away from being able to attack with a Shifter GX. So let's see. I'm looking at my hand. I have an Ultra Ball, so I could potentially go for a Lele because I don't actually have a draw supporter in hand. I could do that and try to refresh my hand a bit. I do have some copies of Steven's Resolve in hand, but it's not that great right now at this point in the game, just because it will actually end my turn. And if you guys are not familiar with Steven's Resolve, it is the new supporter that we got out of Celestial Storm. You search your deck for 3 cards and then your turn ends. Okay, but here I'm actually going to go for the Steven's Resolve and kind of forcing Haley, like, hey, you're going to need an N or something like that to disrupt myself here. So I'd imagine I'm probably going to go for like a Float Stone. I think I had a Metagross in hand, maybe an actual draw supporter if she doesn't get it out of hand or out of my hand. So I'll have to see what route she's going to go here. She's going to Ultra Ball away a Choice Band, definitely a great card to get rid of there. And what else does she get rid of? Definitely going to be an important choice here. So here it looks like she is thinking about getting rid of the Cynthia. Okay, she does have another Tapu Lele in hand, so I think that's fine. So I think what she's going to want to do here is get some sort of supporter to disrupt my setup. So here she's going to go for a Judge. And so one thing that is important to note about Haley's deck, I don't actually believe that I had any copies of N in this list. I think it's just Judges and Cynthia's and things like that. I think there's even Copycat in the list if I remember correctly as well. But she's going to play this Judge card, actually a really great card, I think for Zoroark decks in particular. Once you have a Zoroark GX in play, you can safely play this Judge without much fear of anything happening, because Judge is going to force both players to shuffle and draw 4 cards, but whenever you have a Zoroark GX in play, getting the 4 cards really isn't that bad because you can usually just draw out of it with trade. So normally you're disrupting your opponent more than you're disrupting yourself. So not only that, but then of course it has synergy with Shiftry GX to match hand sizes to do large amounts of damage. And here I'm taking a look at my hand. It does not look good. I do have another Steven's Resolve, but beyond that, it's not too exciting looking. So let's see. Looks like Haley's thinking about trading away that Mute EX. Definitely a good card to get rid of it in this matchup. So I see a Shiftry GX in hand, no rare candy, so she is not going to be able to get that out. And she doesn't have a Float Stone either, so she will not be able to retreat this Lele. Now she could potentially Ultra Ball and try to go for another Zoroark GX. I do think that is a potential option as well. But this turn, I really don't think it's imperative to take a knockout on this Delmise. It's really not a threat, and it's actually kind of annoying being in the active spot. So, if I'm Haley's position, I think I'm content with just passing here. Because if she does Ultra Ball some cards out of her hand for another Zoroark GX, just as an example, she's not going to have any great targets to actually trade away. So I think she's better off just hanging on to this hand, keeping it the way it is. And also, she doesn't have an actual draw support, so she could save that Ultra Ball for getting another Lele into play and getting like a Cynthia or something. Alright, and here I top deck a Parallel City. Definitely a card that could be good here. I actually like it for a few different reasons. It's mainly actually in this list to discard my own GXs and stuff from the field to force opponents to deal with these 170 HP Metagross Pokemon. But here I'm just going to play it and pass over to Haley. I did have the Steven's Resolve. I could have played that, but at this point, I don't know, I'd be down 2 Steven's Resolve without even getting a Metagross up and running. So maybe... So I'm really not sure if that's the right play or not, but I think my line of thinking is, I have this Metagross GX. It's normally not a Pokemon I'm very reliant on, but if I'm able to top deck a Metal Energy, I can actually use its GX attack. That is going to be an option. So here it looks like Haley is contemplating getting rid of a Bridget. I think that is definitely a good trade target here. Or she could even maybe get rid of a Sorola, since she can always puzzle of time for it at some point. I do think that is an option as well. But I think the Bridget is going to be an easy trade target. So here she's going to get down a double Colress Energy on this Tapu Lele GX. Okay, looks like she's double guessing herself, so here she's going to go for the trade first. Definitely like that, just in case she can hit a Float Stone. She'd prefer to save that double Colress Energy. So she is going to get down a Nuzleaf in preparation of a Shiftry GX. And from here, what does she do? She needs to start putting on some pressure, I think, and try to capitalize off that Judge that she hit me with, because right now my hand is trash. Like I said, I do have that Steven's Resolve, but I really just, it would feel wrong almost using a second one without really getting much benefit out of it. So here it looks like Haley is just going to retreat into the Zoroark GX. And Zoroark will be able to knock out this Delmise. It is weak to dark, so she is going to be able to take a prize here. And here I have a Float Stone, and I top deck an N, so that is definitely a great top deck here. So I'm going to be looking for a Metagross, Rare Candy, Metal Energy, maybe Choice Band as well. Kartana GX also could be good. That is a card that I do have in this list. So there are definitely some decent outs I could hit here. So let's see what I'm actually going to get. Okay, no Metagross, unfortunately, but here I can use Algorithm GX. So even though Metagross GX actually is not a big part of this deck compared to like previous Metagross GX decks, having access to this GX attack is actually pretty nice. Search your deck for 5 cards, put them into your hand. Now, of course, the downside is Haley could just very well play another Judge and get these cards out of my hand, but I have to make something happen here. So it is going to force her to have a Judge. And I do see a Copycat in hand, but no Judge. So right now, it's looking pretty good for me. So I'd imagine here I should probably get a Metagross, maybe another Beldum. I definitely think that is good just because I don't want to be stuck with a Rare Candy Metagross in hand if Haley has like a Guzma or something like that. So there's definitely a bunch of cards I'm going to be looking for here. And I could even maybe grab a Heavy Ball just to be on the safe side, just in case Haley does or doesn't have the Guzma. I can still use that Heavy Ball to get a Metagross instead of a second Beldum. So there's definitely a good bit of cards I kind of want here. But okay, so I do get the second Beldum, looks like a Metagross and Kartana GX as well. So we'll have to see how she's going to respond this turn. She does have a Copycat in hand that is going to be a new supporter she might want to make use of. Or she could opt to save that for her turns where she wants to attack with Shiftry. So she is going to get Shiftry GX into play. And she's going to get down a Choice Band on the Zoroark GX. I like that. It looked like she was initially thinking about the Float Stone, going for like a Shiftry play, but Shiftry actually can't knock out this Metagross GX anyway, so I think it's fine going for a Rice beating if she's going to. But here now it looks like she's thinking about attaching the Float Stone. We're not a big fan of that, though. There's not really any reason to retreat or, you know, get down a Float Stone in preparation of a retreat, unless she was going to go for like a Guzma play or something like that. So here it looks like she's thinking about getting it down on that Shiftry, and then she's going to play Copycat. And Copycat, for you guys who might not be too familiar with, it's actually a pretty old card at this point, but it did get a reprint in the new Celestial Storm set. So it's a new supporter. You shuffle your hand into your deck, and then you draw equal to the amount of cards your opponent has in hand. So I just did that Algorithm GX after playing that N, so I have a good bit of cards in hand. I can't tell exactly how many it is, but it looks like it might be around 10. Something like that. So she's going to get a lot of value out of this Copycat. Okay, it looks like around 10 cards there. It's hard for me to tell on my computer monitor here, but anyways. So she's going to get down a second Zoroark GX, so her draw engine's pretty much up and running at this point. We'll have to see what she's going to do from here. She's going to trade away this Deoxys, it looks like. Definitely a good card to trade away in this matchup. For you guys who might not be too familiar with it, it's basically a reprint of the Mewtwo from Evolutions with slight differences in HP and retreat cost, but basically just the Mewtwo from Evolutions. So definitely not a good card in this matchup at all. And I believe she does have another trade still left at her disposal, but here it looks like she's thinking about going for an Ultra Ball, getting rid of a Rare Candy, definitely a good card to get rid of. And I think getting rid of Bridget is going to be a good target. But here it looks like she's thinking about Mallow. I'm not sure if I like that. I definitely think just tossing the Bridget is going to be the way to go. I'm pretty sure that is a Bridget there that is in the deck. Or is in her hand, yeah. So she's going to toss 2 Rare Candies. Granted, I think those are also probably okay targets, but Bridget at this point in the game is going to be a pretty worthless card, especially since she's Ultra Balling for another Pokemon. She's not going to get very much value out of Bridget at this point anyway. So here it looks like she's going to go for another Zorua. I think that's fine. I think she really only needs the one Shiftry GX anyways. I think she'll be able to net probably 2 knockouts on Metagrosses with it, and she's going to get plenty of value out of that. But let's see what all she's going to do. I think from there she just needs to ride his beating just to soften up this Metagross GX. Okay, so she's going to trade again. So she's going to get down a second C-Dot. Getting down another Grass Energy. Okay. So her board is definitely in great shape at this point. She's going to be swinging for 150 on this Metagross GX here. Alrighty. So now that my hand was able to actually stay without being disrupted, let's see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to play Max Potion. Definitely a huge card in this Metagross deck. Gonna kill off all that damage. Gonna get down the actual Metagross into play here, and here's where the deck actually is gonna get a little bit fun. So I can retreat for free thanks to that Float Stone, And now I can make use of Steven's decision, or I'm sorry, Steven's Resolve. I think that was the old name before the English scan got leaked. But anyway, so we can use Steven's Resolve to get some more cards out of deck. Gonna get down a Choice Band. And have all sorts of good things going on here. Have this Kartana GX and kind of debating, do we use the ability to get rid of the double color synergy? And I think we do. Haley has a Choice Band on this Zoroark, so she won't be able to actually get a Float Stone down on it, so I think it is going to be stranded active for a turn, unless she is able to get an Acerola or maybe a Field Blower to get rid of that to put a Float Stone down. It's going to make things a little bit awkward for her. And so here I do have a Steven's Resolve in hand. I definitely, yeah, I think I should play. I think there's no reason not to here. And at this point, I almost kind of forget if that second Beldum came down this turn or the previous turn. If it was down the previous turn, I think we definitely go for like another Metagross and get that set up. Because one thing that actually could be a little annoying is if Haley uses the GX attack on Shiftry GX, that would actually set me back. So for the same attack cost as its main attack for a Grass and DCE, you shuffle, I think it's one of your opponent's Pokemon, all cards attached to it, back in their deck. I believe that's it, or it might be they're active. My memory is just a little hazy, but something to that effect. And so if she's able to do that, that would be pretty bad because I need Metagross in the active spot to be able to use Steven's Resolve properly every turn without my turn ending. So let's see, but here I'm just going to do Meteor Mash, I believe that's the name of the attack, for 90 damage onto this Zoroark. So alright, so I'd imagine I might have grabbed like a Max Potion for next turn, potentially. Not sure. Can't really get a good look at my hand, but here Haley's going to play 2 Puzzles of Time, so I have to see what she's going to grab here. Could be a double Colorless Energy, that always seems like a good target for Zoroark decks. Okay, so she's going to go for a Field Blower. That definitely seems solid. Okay, so she is actually going to be able to get rid of this Choice Band on her own Zoroark, so I'm pretty sure she's ecstatic about this. And here she's going to get down that double Colorless Energy, Field Blower, getting rid of the Float Stone on my Metagross GX, definitely a good target, and her own Choice Band, that way she can get down a Float Stone. And she can play Judge as well, so this is definitely not a good spot that I'm going to be in. So either way, she's going to be able to take a knockout on this not on this Zoroark, but on this active Metagross that I have, and she disrupted my hand in the process. So really not excited about where I'm at right now in this game. So like I said, I forget if that other Beldum I had in play came down on my last turn or the turn before, but this is definitely a situation where had it been down a turn prior, I think should have gotten a Metagross off of that Steven's Resolve on my last turn to set that up. But here, it could go both ways because I made the Kartana play, getting rid of the double Colorless Energy, which is going to limit Haley's out to actually being able to retreat into the Shiftry. So I think it was a relatively safe play. But here I'm going to go for a Lele and play N. So I'm going to get a fresh hand of 6 while Haley is going to get 4 cards. And now I'm in a little bit of an annoying spot because, like I said, my draw engine has been kind of taken away. I need to set up another Metagross, and it looks like I actually do draw once that's good. So I do get Rare Candy Metagross. And unfortunately, I do not get a Metal Energy. I really needed that, unfortunately, to actually attack into the Shiftry. That's, I think, a really big whiff. So the fact that I don't actually get a hit in on this Shiftry is a big problem. So here I'm just going to pass back over to Haley. And actually I think I probably still should have used Geotech Systems, the ability on Metagross, to attach this Metal Energy, because next turn I can just attach another one from hand and retreat. But I couldn't get a good look at my hand, but maybe I have a way to actually deal with this Metagross GX being in the active spot. I'm not sure, so we'll have to see what happens here. So here it looks like Haley is playing Ultra, getting rid of a Tapu Lele and a C-Dot. Seems like a good targets to get rid of here. Maybe going for another Zoroark. that could be a potential option. And she's going to Mallow in the process. But the only thing is that's going to leave her with 0 cards in hand. Okay, but here it looks like she realized that and she's backing up a little bit. And that's fine. We're playing just for fun here, guys. So, and in a lot of cases in these testing rounds videos, these are actually our first couple times ever playing with the decks. So expect a couple misplays here and there. We're literally getting a feel for them as we're recording these games sometimes. So, like I said, it's kind of a friendly game. We're not being too strict on taking back plays and things like that. So let's see what she's going to do now. So if she is able to Guzma, that would actually be really nice to take a knockout on this Metagross. Or even this Kartana GX, that would actually be really nice as well. That'll basically set her up to where she's only going to need one more GX knockout to finish the game. But here it looks like she is committed to the Mallow, so I'll have to see what route she's going to go. I think I saw a rare candy in there, so she must have a Shiftry GX in hand. If not, she does have that Ultra Ball, which we did see, so it looks like she is trying to get another Shiftry online this turn. So she's going to get rid of that Ultra Ball. That's okay with me. Going to rare candy into that second Shiftry. And here you can kind of see Haley's board is pretty unstoppable. But here she is going to use that GX move, and that is going to shuffle that Metagross back into my deck, which is a huge problem. So essentially I burned a rare candy for no reason. So that's going to go back into my deck, and like I've said, without Metagross in the active spot, this deck kind of comes to a screeching halt. You're very reliant on using Metagross and Steven's Resolve every turn, and when you're not doing that, this deck is just not that good outside of that. So Haley's definitely, doing a good job of recognizing the threats that that I have and taking them out appropriately and creating awkward situations for my deck to deal with. Okay, so I did have a Guzma, so that must be why I did not Geotech that Metal Energy last turn. So here I'm going to, and I do remember this. I was thinking I could go for a Blade GX, but then I realized, oh wait, I already used Algorithm GX with my Metagross, so that is not a play I'm going to have access to. So I could go for a Guzma. I think that is an option, but here I'm going to go for a Steven's Resolve. I'm going to attach that Choice Band kind of preemptively, even though I don't need it right now. I just want to thin a card out of my deck in case Haley does hit me with a Judge or something like that. I want to increase my odds of drawing into the cards that I actually need. And so I've played, I think, 4 Steven's Resolves this game so far, or it might be 3. And I know at least 2 of them have been without Metagross in the active spot, which has been, pretty bad. Having your turn end every time you play your supporter is pretty bad, but I'm just in a bad spot and I need a way to actually get set up. And right now I'm in a bit of danger too because my Beldum is my only one in play. So if Haley is able to just Guzma up this Beldum on the bench, that's going to be a problem as well. So let's see, she does have that, I think she has a Guzma in hand. Oh no, she has a Judge in hand. She has Acerola as well. She could heal this Zoroark GX potentially. So I think here she either needs to go for the Guzma on the Beldum, or she needs to go for a Judge. I think those are her best plays. She could Acerola up this Zoroark GX, but I really don't think that's a big deal. Zoroark is not a threat to Metagross. Honestly, Shiftry is the thing that is really going to mess my deck up. Metagross can actually trade extremely well against Zoroark, so I definitely don't think Acerola is going to be the play here. So she's going to get down another double Colorless Energy, setting up yet another Shiftry GX. Okay, it looks like she is kind of second guessing it. So she is going to go for a Guzma on this Kartana GX. And I guess just retreat back into the Shiftry. And so I'm actually not sure how much I like that, just because now that Kartana's in the discard pile, I can Rescue Stretcher it and have access to its ability again, potentially. I think going for Lele would have been a little bit of a better play. But here I'm going to go for an N. And I was fortunate enough to get down another Bellum. Definitely good just in case of another Guzma or something like that. But here, honestly, I think it's a little too late. This has just been such a terribly awkward game for me. And yeah, again, I whiff a Metal Energy to actually start doing damage to this Shiftry GX. Now, the good thing is I do have a Guzma in hand, so I can get my Metagross GX out of the active spot next turn, and then use the ability on it to power up the baby Metagross to attack into something else. But like I said, I think it's just a little too late. I've whiffed too many things throughout the course of this game. All Hice needs to do is Guzman this Tapu Lele GX, and she just wins. So we're going to play it out, but definitely if I was in a major tournament, I would have scooped this game by now. So here she is going to go for the Guzma, and she just needs to match our hand sizes. That's one thing she does have to keep in mind. So I believe I have 4 cards in hand, so she definitely needs to make sure she matches hand sizes before. Okay, so she is going to trade away Rescue Stretcher, so that's fine. Then, okay, she doesn't need the parallel. She's getting, I think, just a little too excited with it. So here she can just Guzma up this Lele and take the game. But here you can see I had 4 Metal Energy prize, and this deck I think only plays 7. So over half of the Metal Energy in the entire deck were in the prizes. So that's just some good old-fashioned bad luck right there, guys. But we are doing a best 2 out of 3 series, so hopefully I can bring it back in the next couple games and show you how this Metagross deck is actually supposed to work. Like I said, against Zoroark appearance, I actually think Metagross has a fantastic shot just because Zoroark is a very inefficient attacker against Metagross. It's just against things like Shiftry is where this deck is going to have some trouble. But you know what, if I can actually get set up and get some Metagross into play and start using Steven's Resolve more efficiently, then I think I am going to stand a chance. And you can see there, I am going to take a mulligan, so Hice is going to be able to start with an additional card in this next game. And yet again, no basic Pokemon, so this series is not going my way, but hey, luckily Hice had a mulligan of her own, so that is going to at least cancel out that first mulligan that I had. So let's see, I see a Tapu Lele. Oh god, that is not, it's not a great starter. But I do play 4 Beldum and I believe 3 Heavy Ball in list, so actually do have a decent amount of outs to still getting our basics into play. And Hice does have a Zorua and a C-Dot to start with, it looks like. So we're just going to get started, and I do have a Cynthia in hand and a Heavy Ball. Okay, so even though I did start with Lele, it's not the end of the world. I can get this Beldum into play and just take a look through my deck too, just see what we have in there. Gonna attach a Metal Energy, and I actually might even hang on to this hand. We have Rare Candy. Oh, but here I'm gonna go for the Cynthia. Okay, so here I think this actually might have been a little bit of a greedy move on my part. Because I believe I had Rare Candy Metagross. I definitely had the Metagross from what I could see. If I did have Rare Candy, I think I would have been better just saving it. And I do get down a second Beldum, and I actually do have, I think, Rare Candy and Ultra Ball in hand, so either way, it's going to be fine. And I am just going to pass. So definitely wanted to retreat this Lele while I still have the Float Stone on it, that way I can make sure Metagross is going to be in the active spot on my next turn. So it looks like Hice is going to get rid of an Ultra Ball and a Field Blower with this Ultra Ball, and probably go for a Bridget. But I didn't get a good look in her hand. I'm not sure if she actually had a draw supporter for next turn, so I would maybe consider going for something else if that is the case. Okay, so it looks like she is eyeing down a Cynthia. Yeah, if she doesn't have a draw supporter in hand, I think that is definitely going to be her ideal play here. So it looks like she's thinking about attaching the double colorless energy. But here she's just going to go for the Cynthia. I like that idea. Save that double colorless energy, especially just because I'm threatening a turn 2 knockout on this Zorua with Metagross, so you definitely don't want to attach it there. Unless, of course, you're planning on retreating, then I think that would be, I guess, okay. But I would hate to see her burn a double Colorless Energy this early in the game just to retreat a Zorua. So let's see what she's going to get here. She does get another Zorua. Ooh, and her hand is not looking too good at all. So she has a couple copies of Bridget, but beyond that, she doesn't have much to really work with. So here she is going to get down a double Colorless Energy. I definitely 100% do not think she should attach it to a Zorua. She doesn't have a Zoroark or any way to get a Zoroark for next turn. So I think if she's going to attach, she needs to attach to Tapu Lele GX. Okay, but here she is going to just have to save it. So I definitely like that better than attaching to Zorua, just as an example. And here, let's see, I have some options. Just trying to think, what do I want to get rid of with this Ultra Ball? So I'm going to play the Ultra Ball, getting rid of the Metagross GX. Definitely not a card I really like to get rid of, just because it is really handy in the case of Geotech systems. But here I'm going to Ultra away this GX and the Max Potion. I actually would love the Max Potion too. That's going to be a key card in this matchup. So I'm going to go for Metagross here. And I had a Lele in hand, so I'm going to go for a Steven's Resolve. And I actually have Perilous City in hand. In this actual situation, even though I would normally want to use it against a Zoroark deck in terms of keeping the blue side towards them, this is a situation where I actually would really like to face the blue side in my own way to get rid of some of these GXs. So here I'm just trying to decide, what do we actually get with this Steven's Resolve? So I definitely want a Steven's Resolve for the following turn, but beyond that, what two cards do I really want? And I really want to play this Parallel City, so I'm thinking about grabbing a Beldum, and I was eyeing out Kartana GX as well. But let's see, I did not notice the third card that I grabbed here. It looks like... Okay, I forget what we're discussing here. Okay, I must have grabbed the wrong card. So, my apologies about that one, guys. So here I'm just going to grab a Metang. And here I'm going to do Meteor Mash, take a knockout on this Zorua, and next turn I can actually go for the Kartana and then use Perilous City then. I just want to make sure I get some more non-GX Pokemon in play. Whenever I play this Perilous City, I want to be able to ideally get rid of every single GX that I have. And here Haley's showing me her hand. It's pretty bad. But she does have this Bridget, so she is at least able to thin cards out of her deck to start getting set up a little bit. So it looks like she's eyeing herself down a C-Dot. And I think she's definitely going to want some Zoruas. Okay, she does have one there. So she actually might even have one prized if... Yeah, I don't see another one from what I could tell, so it looks like she might just have to go for the Zorua and the C-Dot. And I don't even think that's that bad though, just because that is going to keep a bench spot open for her, just in case she wants to play another Tapu Lele to bail herself out of this kind of awkward hand that she has. But she still has a double Colorless Energy, so she will be able to at least swing on this Metagross and start putting on a little bit of pressure of her own. So she is going to attach that double Colorless Energy, and it's not much, but she can Energy Drive for 60 here. And so here, this is, I think, a big opening. So what I can do, I think my ideal turn is to get a, maybe... Well, I kind of want a Max Potion, but at the same time, I think I can safely not this turn. I think I'm not in any real danger. What I'd like to do is maybe get down a Kartana GX, maybe a Kartana GX, Metagross, and Steven's Resolve. So let's see. Can't really tell what I'm thinking about going for here, or even a Choice Band could need that at some point as well. So here I'm going to get the Kartana GX, getting rid of that double Colorless Energy, playing Parallel City, getting rid of these GXs, and specifically want to get rid of the Carton. That way I can get it back with a Rescue Stretcher and make more use of its ability at a different point in the game, ideally. So here, I think that's actually a pretty incredible turn I had here, and I definitely don't think I'm in any real danger of being knocked out. Now, of course, if Hice did have, like, you know, she drew out of this and was able to ride this beating, that could have put me in a bad spot, but like I said, I didn't think I was really in any danger. So here she just has to pass. And I'm going to play a Steven's Resolve yet again. Let's see what I'm going to go for. Kind of thinking about even maybe, like, I want to take 2 prizes, but at the same time I wouldn't mind softening up this Shiftry GX, because Shiftry is going to be kind of a big problem for my deck. So here it looks like I'm eyeing down a Pal Pad and a Rescue Stretcher. So since this is a turn where Harry's not really putting on much pressure, I can actually kind of afford to go for some recovery cards, I think, here. So let's see, what's going to be the 3rd card? I'm not sure if I have another Steven's Resolve in deck or not. So I could even go for like a Cynthia if that's the case. Looks like I'm eyeing down Heavy Ball. So as you guys can see, this deck is actually kind of like Sylveon in a way, if any of you guys are familiar with that. Every turn, instead of using Magical Ribbon, you're using Steven's Resolve here. And so sometimes it's a little tricky figuring out what are the perfect 3 combination of cards, but here I'm going to get back to Steven's Resolve, and it looks like Metagross GX, Tapu Lele, and Carton GX back in deck. So like I said, since Hice is having kind of a slow couple turns, this is definitely, I think, an opening where I can afford to play a little bit more defensively and get set up a little bit better. So here I am going to take a knockout on this Tapu Lele GX. And just another pass, unfortunately. So Hice just not having the best game right now. So let's see, I am going to go for a Guzma on this Zorua here. Take a knockout on that. And then I believe I just have 2 prizes remaining. So if Hice doesn't draw out of this soon, I think that's going to be game over. I think maybe even her next turn is going to be her last turn to really, you know, get back into this game. But here she actually has Shiftry powered up, which is a little bit scary, actually. So here I'm going to go for a Steven's Decision. So couldn't tell what I'm going to grab here. I'm just trying to think what are cards that I could use. I would like to maybe get Metagross GX in play and start to get that going. And actually, I do remember misplaying this turn. We called it like literally right after the fact. But I think I actually should go for Guzma here. This is something I forgot about because I'm taking a knockout this turn, and the next turn if I can Guzma up this Zorua, I just win the game. Hice hasn't played many cards so far, so the chances of her having a Zoroark GX are going to be a little bit slim. So like I said, we caught this kind of like a turn too late, but we realized, wait, I should just go for Guzma here. But anyways, I'm in such a good position right now, I don't think it's a big deal. So here I am going to go for a Heavy Ball, grabbing Metagross GX. Going to Rare Candy into Metagross GX. And now I can start using Geotech Systems in conjunction with Max Potion every turn to get back those energies that I'm Max Potioning off. So I'm going to attach Return to this Metagross GX, kind of in anticipation of a Guzma or something like that, just in case. And here, yeah, I did not get a Guzma off of that Steven's Resolve. So definitely a little bit of a misplay, and I've actually paralleled myself, so I can't Lele for it. But either way, I think I'm actually in a fine spot. But here, Hice is going to bridge it yet again, but I don't think there's anything she even really wants. She could get out the Deoxys. Okay, she does have another C-Dot at least, so thinning out some more cards out of her deck. I'd probably get Deoxys, as useless as it is. I'd probably just get it out of the deck at this point, just because she needs to draw cards. So I think this was kind of a big whiff on her part. I think this was the turn where she really needed to get back into the game. If she could have taken a knockout on this Metagross, I think that would have been you know, pretty decent at the very least. So here she's going to have to do 90, or I'm sorry, 70 because of that Perilous City that I have in play. And here I'm going to Steven's Resolve. Probably just going for a max potion, and probably going to get Guzma now. Yeah, so like I said, we caught this like right after my last turn, so definitely want to get Guzma for next turn just in case. So I'm going to max potion, heal off that energy, then just Geotech it right back on. And playing Ultra Ball, just going to start to thin some cards out of my deck, just kind of in anticipation of a Judge or something like that. I want to maximize my odds, or maximize my outs here. So I do have Kartana GX. Unfortunately, I can't play it just because this Perilous City is in play. But nevertheless, like I said, I am able to thin a card out of my deck. Okay, it looks like I'm kind of changing gears. I'm going to grab Metagross instead, and then Ultra Ball Metagross and belt him away for this Kartana. Okay, so just another way of thinning even more cards out of my deck. And here I'm just going to Meteor Mash for 120 damage onto this Shiftry. So big turn for Haley. What does she have? Okay, so she does have Acerola, but she really doesn't have much to work with outside of that. And here I show her the Guzma that I finally remembered to grab it, and we're just going to head over to a Game 3. So, guys, I apologize about this series. It's been a little bit one-sided in both games so far. You know, first turn, you know, I had to play a bunch of Steven's Resolve before getting set up, and then I couldn't hit energy, and, you know, it was just pretty terrible. And then that second game, kind of the opposite. My deck was firing on all cylinders, but Haley was just struggling to get going. She never got a Zoroark GX, and never even saw a draw supporter after that first turn. So hopefully this third game will be a little bit more back and forth and a little less one-sided. So here I am going to Mulligan, which definitely isn't fun going second. That's going to give Haley an extra card to work with on her first turn. So let's see what I'm going to be able to do here. Okay, I see a Delmise, and I do see an Ultra Ball. So okay, so we can go for like a Lele to go for Bridget first turn if need be. And here Haley's going to start 2 Zeroos, definitely some good starters. So she's going to get rid of Acerola and Copycat, it appears. So she did have Copycat and Judge in hand, so I could see she's definitely favoring going for that Disruption on the second turn instead of the Copycat. Definitely think that is going to be a good idea on her part. So here we're going to see a Tapu Lele GX going for a Bridget, definitely her ideal turn 1 play. I'd imagine we'll probably see maybe a Zorua in 2 C-Dots, that kind of seems ideal to me. And here she's taking a peek through her deck, I guess, just see what all else is in there. But yeah, I definitely like this play a lot, getting the 3 Zoruas and then the 2 C-Dots, so plenty of outs to all of her different attackers, even in case one might get knocked out. So here it looks like she's just taking a peek through her deck just to see what all she's going to have access to. And if she has a Grass Energy, that would be the only other big thing I could see really making this turn as perfect as it could possibly be. And so I'm just thinking, how do I respond on my next turn? So I could go for a Tapu Lele Bridget of my own. Oh, and I do top deck the Lele, so that is actually pretty good. So I'm going to go for Bridget of my own and just get out some Beldums. That seems pretty good. And I like being able to hold onto that Ultra Ball. That means next turn I can grab myself like a Metang, or maybe even if Haley does get a double Colorless Energy into play, I could go for something like Kartana GX and limit that option for her as well. So you're just taking a peek through my deck, seeing what all I'm going to have access to. And just going to finish the search, and Haley's going to start her next turn. So here we're going to see a Zoroark GX, 2 Zoroark GXs, Floatstone, okay, and a Judge. So this is definitely a great game for her so far. Actually, for both of us, we had pretty decent first turns. I was able to get 3 Beldums into play. But we're just going to see how this Judge is going to affect me. And ouch, this is a terrible, terrible hand that she gave me. Oh god. So she is going to trade away this Bridget. That's like the perfect trade target as well. She does still have 2 more trades at her disposal. Jeez. So turn 2 Judge with 3 Zoroarks in play. That's crazy. So we're going to see a second trade. Okay, so she did get a double colorless energy, so she will be able to actually take a knockout this turn as well. And then she can trade away this Deoxys too. Man, so this has been a great game for Haley so far. So here, she's going to take a knockout on this Delmise. I'm okay with that though. But here I'm going to go for this Kartana GX, taking away that double colorless energy, putting her an attachment behind. And I do still have Steven's Resolve, which is really nice. So even though, you know, this turn is going to be looking pretty slim for myself, I'm going to go for the Steven's Resolve here and just get a couple different Pokemon. Or I'm sorry, a couple different cards here. I'd imagine I'll probably get a rare candy, and actually, you know what? I think I actually made a misplay here. I think I should have retreated into the Kartana GX. I think that actually would have been a decent play, because I could have even maybe did a Blade GX on the next turn. Well, I don't know. I might just want to save my GX attack. So here it looks like I grabbed a Metal Energy, Rare Candy, Steven's Resolve. That seems pretty good to me here. That way I'm guaranteed to get a Metagross into play. But we're going to have to see what Haley is going to do. So we're going to see a trade getting rid of a Bridget. Another great card to get rid of with trade. And okay, she has an Ultra Ball. She has a Grass Energy. Has her double colorless energy, so that tells me she might be going for a Guzma if she's attaching to this bench Zoroark. And so she is going to go for the Field Blower. Okay, that is kind of annoying here. But if she does go for the Guzma, I'm actually completely fine with the Field Blower. Just because that will still give me an opportunity to promote a Beldum next turn. Okay, here she's going to go for an Ultra Ball. She does need to remember to switch her Zoroark into the one with the energy, of course. But I'm sure she'll get to that momentarily. Here she's going to go for an Ultra Ball, maybe seeing a Nuzleaf. I think that could be an option. Not sure if I've seen one yet. I see C-Dot, but... Okay, looks like she's going to go for Shiftry GX. I'm not sure if I saw Rare Candy in her hand or not, but I mean, she has plenty of Zoroarks in play. I think it's only a matter of time before she is going to find one. And here, just reminding her, she does need to switch to bring up that Zoroark that she played the Guzma with. And here she's going to take a knockout on a Beldum. So, yet again, another pretty decent turn, but I'm going to get down double Rare Candy, setting up both of my Metagross here. I'm going to go for a Steven's Resolve. Now, the one thing I actually really do need to be careful about here is that if Haley's able to successfully get Shiftry set up before I can establish another Metagross, it's actually going to be a little bit bad for me because she can use that GX attack to shuffle it back into my deck. So I definitely need to get another Beldum into play here. And just looking through my deck, I haven't seen one yet, but I do still have Rescue Stretcher available, so that is going to be an option. Could go for Parallel City, even that could be decent. So what I'd even kind of like to do is maybe, I think a decent play could be maybe like bench another Beldum and Parallel myself. I think that could be okay here. But I also need Choice Band. I think that's going to be really important to take a 2-hit knockout on this Zoroark. So with the Choice Band, I'll be doing 90, and the next turn I'll be doing 150. So unless, of course, Haley has a Guzma or something like that as well to reset my Metagross. But I definitely think I need Choice Band here. It's going to be a really important card. So I'm going to go for a Rescue Stretcher. That seems good. And going to go for a Pal Pad. Okay, so I think this is also kind of okay because next turn, like, well, right now I'll be doing 60, and the next turn I can hit for 150 with Choice Band, so I still think it's okay. So let's see, Haley is going to get down a Grass Energy, going to Rare Candy into Shiftry GX, so yeah, her board is starting to come alive and get a little bit scary. Like I said, Zoroark GX, really not a card I'm very concerned about, just because, like I mentioned a few times, Metagross can actually trade extremely well with Zoroark, especially since it only gives up one prize, but Shiftry GX is much more difficult to actually deal with. So it looks like Hice is just going to go for a Cynthia. I think that's fine. And hopefully this will set her up to where next turn she can play like a Judge or a Copycat or something like that to match hand sizes to take a knockout with Shiftry. So what else is she really looking for this turn? If she has Parallel City, that could even be... well, I don't know if that'd be that great to actually play in this situation. It could prevent me from playing my own Parallel City, but probably not too relevant. Yeah, here, I'm really not sure what she needs. She's in a great spot. She really just needs supporters and energy at this point, just to keep her going throughout the rest of the game. And so here it looks like she's taking a peek at her discard pile. She must have like double puzzle or access to double puzzle in some way if she is considering looking at her discard pile. So here she's going to trade away a Leeway. I think that's fine to get rid of. See a Guzma in hand, Floatstone, energy, all sorts of good things. So she is going to retreat. Definitely a good idea. And here, this is actually a half decent play as well. She is going to use Shiftry GX's first attack, it appears. And if you guys aren't familiar with it, just for a single grass energy has 40 damage and confusion. So that's actually extremely annoying. We'll have to see what I'm going to do in response to this. That definitely complicates things. That's an attack that I kind of forgot about, to be honest here. I have Steven's Resolve, so I could even maybe go for like Rare Candy, Metagross, Floatstone to attack with a different Metagross, depending on what I have in hand. So I'll have to see what I'm going to do here. I definitely think I need to get another Metagross set up, though. I think that's going to be pretty big. Looks like I'm eyeing myself down a Rare Candy. I wish I could tell what that last card in my hand was. That would definitely make things a little bit easier here. So I do see a Metal Energy as one of the cards I'm thinking about getting. So that tells me I must be thinking about setting up a different attacker. Another thing I could do is be a little risky. I could go for like a Blade GX or something like that, potentially, if I wanted to take a prize, but I think I really need to just get a hit in on this Shiftry. So here it looks like I am going to eye myself down a Metal Energy. Okay, I like this play as well. I can parallel myself getting rid of one of my GXs, and I've played down my hand to a very low amount. So I'm going to use Blade GX to take a prize, and at this point Hice has to either play her hand down very low, she has to play Copycat for an insanely low amount of cards, or she has to play Judge to refresh my hand size. And even if she does take the knockout here, I think I can live with that, because I don't think I'm going to be in danger of any more two-prize Pokemon getting knocked out for the rest of the game. Metagross GX is so tanky that I can successfully, I think, keep it out of harm's way thanks to max potions and things like that. So I'm actually okay, I think, even if Hice does take the knockout here. Okay, so let's see what she's going to go for. And now she also has another predicament, is that I do have this Parallel City in play, and that's actually going to reduce her damage. So even though most people know Parallel City, for the blue side of it, that does reduce damage by 20, or I'm sorry, reduces bench size to 3. The red side is going to reduce damage by 20 from Grass, Fire, and Water Pokemon. So here, Hice is going for a double puzzle. I imagine we're going to see a Judge and a Field Blower. I think that would be pretty good here. That way she can Field Blower away this Parallel City and that Floatstone, and also at the same time she can match hand sizes to take a knockout on this Kartana GX. So I think that's going to be her ideal combination of cards here. So going for a double Cars Energy, okay. So she does need to take care of this Parallel City. She must have another one in deck. She does have 3 Zoroark GXs in play, so I mean, with Zoroark anything's possible. She might be able to hit it, but she definitely has to take care of that, otherwise she is going to be a little bit short. She's only going to do 160 damage. But her deck is, she's been through a decent amount of cards, I guess, but she does still have some trades left to her. So let's see what we're both going to get here. I do get a Steven's Resolve, it looks like. Okay. And let's see. I don't see Field Blower in Haley's hand, but she does have some trades at her disposal. So she's going to trade away the C-Dot. That's definitely good. And she gets a Peril City of her own. Definitely not what she wants to see here. She's going to trade that away. And she gets Choice Band. Okay, that will do the trick as well. So she is going to be able to take a knockout if she can successfully play down her hand low enough. So did she have 4 cards in hand? I think she actually may have had 5. I don't know if we didn't catch that. I mean, either way, to be fair, like, even if she was like a card different, she could have still had the knockout. She had Rescue Stretcher in hands. She could have just played that and went down to the 4-card hand. But I think she had 5 cards in hand. I could be mistaken there. But either way, she would have had... She had access to the knockout. So I'm not going to stress over it too much either way. So here, just trying to think, what do I do? I definitely need to go for a max potion because Metagross has 170 HP. So with this Parallel City in play, this Shiftry is actually going to be 20 short of taking a knockout on this Metagross. And I think another thing I should maybe consider is starting to power up this Metagross GX, because actually one way I can lose from here on out is if Haley can successfully Guzma up this Metagross GX and just keep it stuck in the active spot. So here, yeah, I am going to get down a Metal Energy, going to max potion, and then use Geotech Systems to just reattach that same Metal Energy I discarded with the max potion. And so here I'm going to get down a Choice Band. And we're just going to go for Meteor Mash for 60 damage. And here it looks like we're discussing something. I'm not sure what. Okay, so it looks like I'm retreating first. Okay, I think that's fine. Just that way I can get some more damage in, just because I think I actually will need both Choice Banded attacks to take a knockout on Shiftry GX because it has 240 HP, so I will need to do the 90 this turn, and then 150 next turn. So it looks like Haley is going to get rid of a Nuzleaf and a Rare Candy. So I don't know if she's just thinning cards out of her hand, but going for another Shiftry GX, so she must have an additional Rare Candy in hand still. So let's see, she's definitely going to want to get a Field Blower to get rid of this Parallel City. That's going to be huge here. So Rare Candy into Shiftry. Gonna get down another double color synergy, okay. And gonna go for a Rescue Stretcher. Going for a couple of Lele's, it looks like. Honestly, I'm not even sure how much I like the Rescue Stretcher play here. Just because at this point you have so many Zoroarks, and I just don't think... Like, you can draw through your deck already. I don't think you really need Lele. Maybe she's just thinking, well, just in case some stuff gets knocked out or something like that, I want to be able to still fill my bench for Ride to Speeding. But here it looks like she is second-guessing the Stretcher, and I think that's probably for the best. I'm not a big fan of the Stretcher play here in this particular situation. So here she actually does have Guzma, which is going to be slightly annoying, but... So I can tell she's thinking, do I want to like try to figure out a way to take a knockout on this Metagross, or do I want to just kind of strand this GX in the active spot, or attempt to strand it in the active spot? So we'll have to see. She only has 3 cards in hand. She has Stretcher, Guzma, and I'm not sure what the other card is. But she is going to go for the Guzma. Okay, and this is exactly why I did attach the Metal Energy last turn, because now what I can do is get an attachment and use Geotech Systems to retreat. And then I'll be good to go to get this Metagross GX successfully out of harm's way. I do need to draw that stuff first, so let's see. I do have... hard to tell. I think I have the new Celesteela from Celestial Storm. Just going to bench that probably, and then go for an end here. I did have Steven's Resolve in hand, but one thing we do have to clarify is that the regular Metagross needs to be active to be able to use it without ending your turn. So really, all I need is a Metal Energy and a Max Potion ideally, because then I can Geotech Systems and attach for turn. And I whiff both. So that's actually really terrible, because had I gotten either of those things, I could have had this Metagross survive. Because if I hit the energy, I could have attached, used Geotech to retreat, or if I had the Max Potion, I could have just healed off all the damage and tanked another hit, and then next turn try to find a way to retreat. But because I whiffed that, my Metagross was stranded, which means Haley could get her last 2 prizes off Metagross GX. So congrats to Haley, she was able to take down this Metagross deck with this crazy Zoroark Shiftry deck as well. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed a look at these upcoming Celestial Storm decks. Definitely stay tuned to the channel. We're going to have a ton of Celestial Storm coverage, including deck profiles of both these decks in the coming days. But as usual, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you guys can support this channel by becoming a patron over at patreon.com/rarecandytcg, or by picking up something from our online store at rarecandytcg.com, it would mean a lot. But with that, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you for the next one.